Snezhnaya will change Genshin forever. It sounds a bit hyperbolic, but after listening to Xiaodan and Aquaria talk about Snezhnaya, it really feels like this will change Genshin. They've actually done this before with their Nodcry behind the scenes video. They set expectations of what the team wants to accomplish in Nodcry, and they succeed.
传说任务、优越任务的内容，我们尝试用更加润物细无声的做法，自然地融入到这个世界的探索和交互里。
So I'm expecting the same with Snezhnaya, and yes, this doesn't mean the implementation of some of the features or expectations will be perfect, but at least they're trying something new. One of the first things we saw was a train heading for a beautiful city covered in snow. Although they didn't directly point out the city itself, they explained that Snezhnaya being this wonderful blend of many places from Eastern Europe and around the Arctic Circle. My favorite highlight from them talking about the environment was them repurposing older buildings to fit a more modern use. They provided examples like the Beijing 798 Art District, which was created from an abandoned factory. I love this concept because it ties into the themes of cryo with preservation. I'm looking forward to exploring these historical buildings of like an industry that no longer exists in Snezhnaya and seeing how they transform these buildings into something else to reflect the current industry in Snezhnaya. So very, very excited. Also, for gameplay purposes, it will allow us to explore some pretty cool locations that will be a blend of both historical and modern day Snezhnaya, and I think that's just going to be a lot of fun. And they also talked about trains, okay? I love trains. They are probably my favorite mode of transportation. And I love that they went so in depth about trains. They want them to be more than just objects for transportation. They want players to be able to explore inside the trains, and they even question themselves, what kind of interesting gameplay can we have inside train carriages? So look, I'm hyped for it, okay? I am very hyped for it. Now, if you're not convinced that trains will absolutely change Genshin forever, the way they talked about the update to the elements and how cryo will function as Snezhnaya is incredible. They see cryo as an element that can help players shape the environments during encounters. Battles will be now between yourselves, your enemies, and the environment around you. They specifically called out making this more than just elemental reaction. And when you pair it with elements being more strategic, allowing players more ways to counter enemies, I imagine that we'll be doing a lot of breaking the flooring underneath enemies, building up walls to split groups apart. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I definitely have high expectations. They also hinted at expanding all other elemental powers to be more than just reactions in Snezhnaya, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to manifest those elements. And finally, not only did they show off a new outfit for the Traveler, which looks freaking dope, they also are finally addressing the question of what should gameplay feel like as a Descender? I have extremely high hopes for this. Not just because Aquaria literally said a brand new gameplay completely different from the game as you know it, but this is a glimpse into modernizing Genshin Impact. They talk pretty explicitly about how Hoyoverse is paying close attention to what players enjoy from other modern games. They even provided examples of how Genshin has changed because of this approach. When they talk about what it feels like to play as a Descender, and I look at other popular games within the same genre, to me, Descenders feel like they'll be a much more faster paced action playstyle that utilizes all the elements at once. They even mention that the new characters are undergoing some major graphical changes to the point where they had to point out that the development team were in disbelief that they were still looking at a character from Genshin. And it actually totally makes sense then why they're giving the Travelers a new outfit, so that they can update the Traveler's model to support this new graphics update. And I do find it strange for them to point out this Genshin model update, because Genshin models have actually been improving in each region, especially with Nodcry. So for them to make the statement now, it really has set my expectations extremely high. They even mentioned that they want the in-game content to be on par with cinematic content, which is fantastic decision. I would love to see more in-game cutscenes that rival that of the cinematics, so I'm looking forward to this. Lastly, let's talk about the story, because Aquaria teases that we will learn the full answer to why the Archons seemingly handed over their Gnosis to the Tsaritsa. As he puts it, in some way, the better choice for Teyvat as a whole. I love this. It really goes to show that we are wrapping up so many unanswered questions, while also teasing us with some new questions like, what kind of ancient power is being frozen inside Snezhnaya? Is it somehow related to the Fae and their powers? They reference cryo being used as a way to store and preserve energy. So we are most certainly getting a hold of some sort of Fae, or maybe even powers from the Hyperborean times. Maybe cryo is even preserving some of the Heavenly Principle's powers from the celestial nail that destroyed Hyperborea. There is so much in this video that it just really highlights how much Hoyoverse wants to push Genshin Impact into the future. It is clear that they do not want Genshin Impact to feel like an old game. They want to continue to make it better and to modernize it. They want to make sure that it can still compete against modern games of today. And the last part I want to talk about is Aquaria's feelings on Snezhnaya. He brings up that many players are looking forward to seeing the conclusion in Snezhnaya, but how that perspective prevents future possibilities for Genshin Impact to tell more stories. I appreciate that they are understanding that they might lose players after Snezhnaya because people feel like the story has concluded. At the same time, I'm sure they are racking their brains on trying to figure out ways to retain as many players as possible after Snezhnaya and moving on to the next storyline. For me, I will probably drop Genshin after Snezhnaya. For many stories, whether it be games, TV, anime, and whatever else, once I have any kind of narrative closure, I feel satisfied. Very rarely do I care to replay a game or rewatch a movie, and for a game like Genshin, where I've invested so much of my time into the storyline, I don't think I'll have the energy to see what the next 6 years of Genshin will be like. Having 4 hours of main story quests every single month, but I'll be happy. I'll be happy knowing that they're still telling incredible stories. That's it from me, man. Snezhnaya looks absolutely incredible. Just this glimpse at seeing what they're planning, it has me some high expectations, but you know what? I'm confident that they'll be able to nail it. Okay, bye now. Bye.